Lafourche Parish Council meeting of January 9, 2024 is hereby called to order. Ms. Carlene, can you please conduct roll call?
Yes, sir. Mr. Broomfield. Welcome aboard. Mr. Adams.
Present.
Mr. Perk, welcome aboard.
Here.
Mr. Melvin. Here. Mr. Wendell. Here. Mr. Araby. Here. Chairman Oten.
Here.
Mrs. Chasson. Here. Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Lorraine. Here. President Chasson.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carlene. If everyone would please rise, we'll be led in invocation by Councilman Lorraine, followed by Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Adams.
Let's do the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to start off by welcoming everyone to tonight's meeting. This time I would respectfully request those with cell phones, so please turn them off or put them on vibrate out of respect for the others here in attendance. And then I'd like to remind everyone, I'd like to mention anyone who's wishing to address the council can fill out a blue form near the door that you walked in. Get up to the council clerk. We'll be sure to recognize you. And I'd also like to remind everyone that under ordinances, we'll ask for public input 3 times. You're welcome to come up to discuss an item. Then the council will discuss and bring it to a vote. And on resolutions, it'll only be the council discussing and bringing it to a vote. With that said, item A, first one is Chairman's.
Mr. Chair,
yes.
can I interrupt for a quick minute?
Go ahead, Vice Chair.
So we have something for you, and it's a thank you for being such a great asset to our parish council and leading us at every meeting as chair. We present this to you.
Kind of heavy. I need to be careful. I changed it up this year. You don't need this. No, he doesn't. We had to put gloves in.
All right. Might need help.
Let me help you.
I had corporal tunnel surgery a week ago, so I'm still struggling a little bit. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Really nice. Thank you, Ms. Carlene. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yeah, I decided to change it up this year. Get you a little something different.
Very much appreciated. And with that said, I do want to thank my fellow council members. We had very, very little heavy debates last year. For the most part, 99.95% of the time, we were pretty much in agreement or had resolved our differences prior to the meeting, leading to not many issues in front of the public, resolving our issues outside the public, which is always a great thing. And then with that said, I know we're about to start another 4 years, and I do want to thank the parish president holding the gavel. I know Jim did as well, and we had so many declared emergencies with COVID and certainly with Hurricane Ida. So I thank you for your leadership and the role that you took with our parish is much appreciated, as well as this council as we waded through all those issues, especially COVID. And with that said, I look forward to continuing our rebuild post-Ida. I feel like I'm no longer up to my neck in a barrel of cement. I'm kind of at the hip or maybe at my knees, same as District 3. I know y'all are in agreement with me on that one. With that said, brings us to item B, appointment of officers for 2024. We'll go ahead and have elections for chairman and vice chair for Lafourche Parish Council for the year 2024. We'll ask for nominations. The person that's nominated has to accept the nomination. We'll ask for all nominations of everyone. And then in the order that the nominations were received, we'll call for a hand vote and continue down until we have elected a chairperson and a vice chair. Anyone has any questions on that? Everybody clear? With that said, item 1, nomination to select the chairperson of Lafourche Parish Council for the fiscal year 2024. I'm not entertain a motion to accept appoint chairperson.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Armin Oten.
I do accept. Thank you very much, Ms. Delenn. Any further nominations for chairperson? Any further nomination for chairpersons? I didn't ask for a second when I normally do Robert's Rule. I got a second by Mr. Adams. Yeah, that's pretty good. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, when I run through my Robert's Rules, I don't normally ask for a second on nomination, but I stand corrected. So anyway, if there are no further nominations, nominations are now closed. By default, I guess I'm chairperson, but I'd still like to bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Raise your hand. Any opposed? Good deal. Motion passes 8-1, one being Councilman Adams. And once again, thank y'all, and I hope we have as successful a year as we've had in the previous years. Item 2, nominations to select a vice chair for the Lafourche Parish Council for the fiscal year 2024. I now entertain a motion for a vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Bo Melvin.
Mr. Melvin, do you accept? Mr. Melvin accepts. And second by, can I get a second this time? Second by Councilman Adams. I now accept any further nominations for vice chair. One time. Any further nominations? Any further nominations? All right, nominations are now closed for vice chair, to appoint vice chair. And with that said, if everyone in favor would please raise your hands, hand vote. All opposed, raise your hand. And once again, congratulations, Mr. Melvin. He passes by a vote of 8-1, one being Councilman Adams. For tonight, we'll just retain our seats if everyone's good with that. No changes, which I'm not sure how we change anyway just yet. We'll have to figure that out. All right, now to the people's business. Item C, approval of minutes. I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the December 12, 2023 regular session. So moved by Councilman Adams, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item D, proclamation. Item 4, Parish President Archie Chesson to present a proclamation recognizing Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated for 111 years of community service. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations once again on leading the group. Whereas January 13th, 2024, Delta Sigma Theta will commemorate 111 years of sisterhood, scholarship, service, and social action. And whereas Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated was founded on January 13th, 1913, by 22 collegiate women at Howard University who wanted to use their collective strength to promote academic excellence and provide aid to those in need. And whereas Delta Sigma Theta Sorority is a private nonprofit organization whose community service, social, and philanthropic projects revolve around a 5-point thrust. The 5 points include economic and educational development, international awareness, and involvement in physical and mental health, and political awareness and involvement. And whereas Delta Theta Sigma Sorority, Inc., the local Lafourche area alumni chapter has strived to provide continued service to the residents in Lafourche, Assumption, and Terrebonne parishes since their charter on January 24th of 2000. The chapter was chartered by 13 local college-educated women, and their primary purpose is creating a local chapter was to address the health, educational, and voting rights discrepancies, as well as to assist with economic development within the African-American communities. And whereas it is a great privilege for Lafourche Parish government to celebrate history and honor the 22 founders and the past presidents and future public service contributors of Delta Theta Sigma Sorority Incorporated and their Lafourche chapter. And I think we see all these pretty women here in red who are here to accept this tonight, so thank you guys for being here.
If you don't mind, well, first we need to make sure that the mic is on. Yeah, just state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, Cassandra Moses, 2217 Laban Avenue, Humboldt, Louisiana. We just would like to thank you all for this proclamation and honoring our sorority. Our goal is to provide community service within our tri-parish area. So we service Lafourche, Terrebonne, and Assumption Parish. And we are working hard to make sure that we're impacting our communities each and every day. So thank you all.
Very good. Okay, very good. Item E, state and or federal legislative updates. I don't see anyone in the audience. Am I missing anyone? Okay. Brings us to item F. We have none, Ms. Carleen. Item G, presentations and or updates. Item 5, Parish President to recognize Lafourche Parish Government Employee of the Month and or WOW Employee for the month of December 2023. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our employer this month is described in his nomination as a loyal employee, has a smile on his face every day. He is willing to help anyone, no matter what the task, and he's always the first guy at work in the morning and the last guy to leave in the afternoon. He's a valuable asset to us here at Lafourche Parish Government, and always gets along with his fellow colleagues and is always willing to share a good story with the guys to keep them laughing. He's a great person, both on and off the job, always checking on personnel that are out sick and injured to make sure they are doing well. I don't know, we lost him for a few months when he had a few knees replaced or whatever it was, but you were out for a little while, Stoney. But we're glad to have you back, and our employee of the month is Mr. Stoney Morris.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Item 6, Ms. Charlene Rodriguez, Executive Director for Lafourche Parish Council on Aging, to present her annual report. Ms. Charlene, you have the floor, ma'am.
Good afternoon. My name is Charlene Rodriguez, Executive Director of Lafourche Council on Aging. My address is 238 Bowie Road, Raceland. I've given you all a copy of my little report, and I'm going to go over it real quickly. Alan Rebstock is my chairman, Marjorie Vizier is my vice chairman, and my secretary treasurer is Ms. Virginia O'Dorn. We also have an advisory board too. I gave Ms. Carleen all that information. The first 2 pages, I think it is the summary report of all of our services we provide. The first column is the consumers. That's the total number of unduplicated people we serve. And on the units, that tells you how many units we've given throughout the year for those consumers. And then if we go on to the third page, I think it is, it goes to the budgetary comparison schedule, general fund. And as you see, on the end of June 30th, which we still had a half a year left, we had $3,709,000 left. So far, we only received $118,000 from the taxes so far this year. In our budget, we have $2.4 million left. And as you all know, we are going to be building our Council on Aging office soon. It's in the preliminary right now, so we're very excited about that. And our last page has our advisory board and board of directors meeting dates. And if any of you have any questions, one more question I have for Mr. Archie, if it's okay. Mr. Archie, the senior citizens activities, people voted on that. Will you be able to help our senior citizens with that?
Mr. Chairman, if I can.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
So back in 2004, maybe 2008, when Ms. Randolph was here and the whole rededication thing happened, the leftover money that was in that fund was put into the Lafourche on the Move program. We've been slowly depleting that fund over the years. Last year was the last year we did the payments. So working with Renita, we're going to see a supplemental in the next few months.
Okay.
That'll put some money back in there for them.
Okay, that sounds good.
And then we'll have to keep doing that year after year because we depleted that old Lafourche on the Move fund.
Right.
But we'll figure out how to make it happen either through health activities or something like that.
I appreciate that. Just let us know. Thank you.
Anyone has any questions for Ms. Charlene? Mr. Adams.
Hey, Mr. Arlene, how you doing? I just want to question this because I know it says right here you wrote in 450. Was there a reason why it
What's
dropped
that?
so much? Oh, sorry, for the home delivery? Home
Home delivery?
deliveries?
Oh, 450, because she also did the home delivery and the drive-by. She
Okay.
somewhere in here added it all together.
All right, because I just see
Yeah.
it was 721, then she
Yeah,
wrote in
because she
450.
added the drive-by and the home delivery together.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, yes.
Mr. Araby.
Charlene, I just want to thank y'all for a great job that y'all doing.
Appreciate
And
it.
also, thank y'all for buying property in our area so that we'll have the Council on Aging headquarters right there on Highway 1 right here in Raceland, Louisiana. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. Hopefully y'all could put a grocery store next door to it.
Working on that too right now. So we get the other area cleaned up.
All right.
Thank you, Ms.
y'all.
Charlene. Mr. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I wasn't finished. What about
No,
me?
Mr. Lorraine, go ahead.
You know I'm gonna drill you.
I'm trying to get away.
First
I
of
promise.
all,
Boo, I'm not
I just want to say that you do a real good job, a great job.
I appreciate
A
it.
lot of the senior citizens really like you, but you come from a long way. You remember
Yes, I do.
years ago when
Begging.
Miss Barrios was here?
And we
And
still
you were
begging.
right behind her?
Yes.
And you took her place? So what really helped you?
The millage,
The millage, right?
that's right.
So that goes to show you, we can't charge the people more millage than what they can pay, but without your millage, you would be begging the council. Because you
Exactly.
came to many council meetings and get 10,000 or 5, whatever we could give you.
Right,
So that millage took care of your problems, and now you're gonna have a building.
right.
So thank the people for supporting you on that, because that's the whole parish.
I really do
You know.
appreciate them voting for it, yes.
And thank you for putting all them programs together, because the amount of money you get, you can put more programs together than what we did, or what you did 20 years ago.
Right,
And thank you.
thank y'all. Appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you. Yeah, Mr. Lorraine, for some reason your light is going on and off. It's blinking. So that's why I didn't see. So just make sure you grab my
Maybe they
attention.
don't want me to talk.
Somebody over here's got a remote. Or, yeah, I'm sorry. We just found out Archie has a remote. He's turning it off on you. Okay, brings us to item H, Legal Advisor Report. I think we have any. Item I, Engineers and/or Architect Reports.
Good evening and Happy New Year. John Plaisance with GIS Engineering, 16878 West Main Street in Cutoff. First project to talk to y'all about is the Butch Hill Pump Station. We're getting real close. We have addressed most of the comments that Dylan had provided to us. We think it says 1/15/23, but it should be 24. By next week, we should have all that done and be ready to start advertising. Valentine Pontoon Bridge is slowly grinding through the federal government process. Again, I think last month I mentioned I don't think it'll be done until the end of this year, but we are hosting monthly meetings with y'all staff, the state and the feds, along with the Coast Guard, to try to get this bridge project approved so we can start advertising on this one. Grand Bayou Freshwater reintroduction. I don't know if last month we had formally abandoned the horizontal pumping, the bow thruster type facility, but we've done that. But so now we're moving back to normal pumps. So we're doing some additional modeling, basically making sure that we don't scour the bridge on the highway over Highway 24. The preliminary package, once y'all get finished with reviewing that, we'll move to the final design phase. Waste collection facility, we're still preparing cost estimates for the different types of facilities we can put in up there. As y'all will recall, or for the two new council members, there's a lot of trash there that we didn't find out until the geotechnical investigation. So we need to figure out a way to bridge that, remove it, or some other method to be able to build this facility. Hurricane Ida pump station rehab. We've been working with the parish for, of course, over 2 years, since right after Ida. We are still trying to convince FEMA that they should be able to give y'all some money so we can rebuild those pump stations. In particular, we have 6 right now, but once we get everything moving forward, there'll be others, whether that's our firm or some other firms that will work on it. North Barrios Street, which is right above Company Canal off Highway 1, right by, I'm gonna say Lafourche Motors, but I know that's not the name of it now, the Ford dealership right above the town of Lockport. That is pretty much done. This will not show up again. This is our last thing, is done. Eunice Alamo Pump Station, we submitted the final set of plans and specs to the parish back in November, so we're just waiting on y'all to tell us how to move forward with that one. And Midway Drainage, we're just starting this. The survey scope of work was turned into y'all. We've started the preliminary hydraulic and hydrological modeling using LiDAR data, which will supplement when we get the survey work accomplished. Oh, forgot about Lockport Boardwalk. The geotechnical report should be submitted to us in the next couple of weeks. ELOS is continuing coordinating with the Corps for the permit. Again, as y'all may recall, the Corps wants a specific outline of where the boardwalk is going to go to make sure we're going to miss the trees. They don't believe us when we just tell them that we're going to turn it whenever we get close to a tree, because we don't want to be cutting any trees down as either. You know, we're building this to be able to see the trees. So that is, we're negotiating with them how to get that done, because that would be relatively a costly thing to be able to stake it out before we get out there. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone has any questions? Looks like we're good.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it. We have any additional engineers and architects? Okay, that's it. Item J, public wishing to address the council, public hearings, agenda items, etc. Ms. Carleen.
Mr. Randy Barn Jr., if you come to the podium, Mr. Barn, state your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
My name is Randy Barn Jr., and I'm trying to get help with the pump system down there. My mama has water up to her 3rd step, and my grandma signed a contract years ago saying that y'all must keep up the pump down there. The hurricane came through, we never had a pump since. You know, I have a business, my business is shut down now. I can't work no more, I have water up to the road. You know, we can't do nothing no more. You know, we need help, you know. My grandma signed a contract whenever y'all pass that levy that y'all supposed to keep up the pumps. And how long is now? 2 years now? Year and a half. There's water up to the front. My mama can't keep up with the pump. The 3rd pump she buys, she can't take it no more. She shouldn't be up to her knees in the water, cold like it is. You know, we need help. You know, I can't make a living. I've been out of work now since 7 months, 8 months. You know, I gotta work. I can't, and that's all I know how to do. It's commercial fisherman. You know, my business been there 13 years, and I want to open back up, but I can't. People are not gonna drive in the water up to your waist to come get bait. You know, we just need help here.
Yeah.
You know?
So they're talking about they're outside the system. Do you have any comments, Mr. President?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And look, T-Ran, Miss Eileen, I mean, I've known you guys for years, right? The issue we've had, and we've talked about this before, it's a FEMA issue. You know, there's only, I think, 2 or 3 structures left down there. There's you two guys.
Rebuilding. They got 5 of us and 2 more people rebuilding. That's 7 of us now.
Yeah, we made an offer. We tried to buy it out. We knew they were outside the hurricane protection system to try to get you guys.
I never got an offer. They offered me what?
Well, it went to whoever the landowner was on the tax record. So it might have went to Miss Eileen. It might have went to somebody. Anyway, irregardless of that, the benefit cost that FEMA's looking at, FEMA's pushing back on putting a pump down there. Now, I had a conversation before the meeting with Councilman Lorraine that years ago maybe there was a pump or an engine that was purchased to go back down there. Dylan's going to look at that tomorrow with Wayne and figure out if there's a temporary fix. To put a new station there under FEMA standards, the pump would have to be as high as your house. It becomes a cost-benefit analysis for us. So if we can do something minor that we can build below the BFE, that Tony and his group and permits are okay with, that FEMA might be okay with, but to put a $2 million pump station back down there for a handful of people, is very difficult for the
We got a
government to
pump
swallow.
donated. The water people said that they had a pump donated. Tell y'all, you wouldn't have to pay for no pump.
The water people.
The water works.
Waterworks,
Water works.
Meadow, Louisiana.
No, in Tip, what it is?
The one right here, go to Meadow.
No, right here in Racine.
Lockport?
Yeah, y'all, they had one donated already. Just
Okay.
waiting on y'all, they said. They donated a pump. You don't have to pay for no pump. It's donated. They talked to me and all, everything about it, just waiting for y'all.
So
to
the
write
water,
pump.
the water district?
Water district, y'all water district. They talked to me, pump was donated. They just been waiting on y'all. Been waiting over a year now. Come on, man, we need help, man.
I'm living in a FEMA trailer, I'm paying $50 a
The
month.
FEMA people can't even come check our trailer. 'Cause the water.
Yeah, hold on. I need for one of y'all to talk, and please talk into the mic and direct it at me, so we can keep this in.
I'm sorry,
Kinda
bro.
going
I never did
sideways
this.
here.
This is the first time I
Yeah.
ever do this.
Yeah,
I just-
no worries.
You know, she has to, up to her knees, cold like it is. Y'all go to Kootenai cold like it is. You know, y'all wouldn't like that, cold like it is. It's gonna be, man, it's just too much.
Understood.
You know, I lost both of my daughters 6 months ago in a wreck. I lost my daddy nine months ago. You know, it's just too much. I can't take it, and I gotta take, her.
Understood.
You know, it's just, I lost my 17-year-old in a wreck, 11-year-old, 6 months, it's all 6 months ago. 9 months ago, I lost my daddy. It's just too much.
Mr. Araby. Mr. Lorraine.
No, listen, most of you councilmen are not familiar with this. This is on the outside of the levee, South Lafourche levee system. And these levees were done before my time, probably when Nerby Collins was in office.
You're right.
And those were not South Lafourche levees, but we didn't maintain them. Now, what happened was when Ida hit, it took the pump on the south side. And also, they had an electric pump by the Mobile on this side. It's two different pumps. But I could tell you, and I spoke to Archie about it, we had a brand new pump sitting at the barn right now that was gonna be put there. But what happened was Ida came and everything got blown away. And the pump's still sitting on the floor in the Region D barn. So I understand it's a FEMA problem because they had a lot of people living there at one time and a lot of people were bought out and some people just are gonna stay where they were born and raised, regardless of what. So if it's a FEMA issue and we can get by with that pump, maybe we could fix that pump up to take care of the Serenier side. And talking to the parish president, he told me he'll look into it, but I can tell you right now, the pump's brand new and it's sitting in the barn. So if we could rig that up some kind of a way, that would probably help them.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine.
Anything.
Any last comments, Mr. Chesson? Okay. Thank you. So Mr. Chesson's gonna check into your comments on the pump.
I appreciate y'all.
All right, thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming.
Mr. Bob Landry, if you come to the podium, Mr. Landry, state your name and address for the record. Please
My
remember you have
name
3
is
minutes.
Bob Landry. I live on 387 St. Joseph Street. I was here before y'all last month with the incident that occurred with River Birch pulling down my utility pole. And y'all said y'all was gonna investigate, and I was just wondering what's going on. And plus, I got my dear friend and brother in Christ here that put a packet together for me to give to each one of y'all. And yesterday, we mailed one out to River Birch in Westwego. And it's got receipts from the electricians, what the AC guy charged me, my gas bill and everything for my generator running for 13 days without electricity. So we trying to see what's gonna come out of it. So,
You haven't heard anything else from River Birch
Nope.
since the last meeting? Mr. President,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, we sent it up to their group through Mr. Rister, who's our local contact. Dylan will follow up with them, but we haven't gotten anything back either for it, so. We had another issue, I think Mr. Melvin had one, and we went back and forth with Energy On, and it looks like that one's cleared up, but that was more of a, Energy got the power hook back up, but that homeowner's gonna have to go through the same thing Mr. Landry's
like I
did
said,
with
we
it.
have a package with all the copies of the invoices and everything that we're gonna pass out to y'all and what we sent them.
Yeah, if you leave me a copy, we'll definitely scan it
Yeah,
again
we'll
and get it
give
to
one
him.
to each one of y'all.
My name's Leo Petrie. I live at 150 East 26th Place in La Rose, and I'm the one that put the package together.
yes, sir. Make sure one gets handed to the council clerk to go into the record. Minutes. Mr.
Yeah, I just wanted to say too that I've gotten at least 1 or 2 calls about some River Birch trucks, running into some lines and things.
I wanna add, since the last meeting,
Thank you, sir.
Gazette came behind the next day, measured, and he had told me some of the lines were even lower than mine. And now River Birch is not coming down with the truck with the arm. They're there with the workers on the back picking up the garbage. So apparently they know what's going on.
Don't let up. I think I said the same thing last time.
So,
Being in
Mr.
the
Chairman,
fire
we
service, we see
did
it
get the
often.
video, and we did watch the video. It's clear that the truck hit it. It's just a matter of, and I think what's gonna happen is gonna be the same thing that's happened to Mr. Melvin, is that Energy and River Birch are gonna point the finger at each other. Was the line too low? Was the truck too high? But we'll work through it, Mr. Landry.
Well, here's a copy of the letter that Energy sent me in there also.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated.
And Happy New Year.
Same to you.
That's it, sir.
All right, that's it. Very good. Brings us to item K, public hearing ordinances for ratification. I now entertain a motion to open public hearing. So moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Araby. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes, 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 7, ordinance to install 3 Watch for Children signs at the beginning, middle, and end of Douglas Drive, Cutoff, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 8, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of Watch for Children signs as stated above. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Araby. Would anyone from the public like to comment on ordinance number 7? Second call, public input, ordinance 7. Last and final call for public input on ordinance number 7. All right, anyone from the council wants to discuss? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed, 9 yeas, 0 nays. I'll now entertain a motion to close public hearing. So moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Perk. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passed, 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item L, proposed ordinances, Mr. Melvin.
Okay. Number 8, proposed ordinance requesting no dumping, $500 fine. Sign will be posted between West 71st Street and West 72nd Street, Cutoff, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 8, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing a necessary no dumping $500 fine sign and providing penalties for the violation thereof. Moved by Ms. Chasson. Number 9, proposed ordinance requesting no dumping sign, $500 fines. Sign be posted at West 39th Street, LaRose, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 8, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary no dumping $500 fine sign and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Ms. Chasson. Number 10, proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 6856 that amended the 2023 operations and maintenance budget and capital outlay budget for the Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting salaries of the unclassified employees as provided for by Article 5 of the Lafourche Home Rule Charter. Moved by Ms. Chasson for the administration. Number 11, proposed ordinance approving the holding of an election in Fire Protection District Number 3 of Lafourche Parish, of the Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, on Saturday, April 27th, 2024, to authorize a levy of a special tax therein by Mr. Lorraine. Moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Melvin. Item M, resolutions. Number 12, resolution reappointing one member on the Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter Advisory Board representing Council District 5. Mr. Wendell for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Wendell?
We have one vacancy and one reappointment, Ms. Tina Robichaux.
Ms. Robichaux, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes, 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 13, resolution reappointing one member on the Head Start Policy Council as a liaison between the Policy Council and Lafourche Parish Council. Mr. Adams for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Adams?
Mr. Lynch Chasson.
Ms. Chasson. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Perk. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes, 9 yeas and 0 nays. I guess she gets to vote for herself on that one. I don't see why not. Item 14, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and South Central Planning and Development Commission, SCPDC, for the fiscal year 2023-2024 membership dues, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I know Mr. Belanger is in the audience, but I just want to thank him for all the work they do for us, from helping us in jams with permits to the grant work they do through the EMPG program and all the other stuff they do. I have the privilege to work with him a lot as a member of the executive committee for the South Central Planning Board, and I just want to say thank you, Kevin, publicly. So appreciate you being here.
I don't think it's outside the resolution, but I will request, I know we have 2 new council members, and I don't know if they were given the maps by the previous council members, but I would respectfully request that we get a large, blown-up map for each of these council members. You have one. So I don't know if Mr. Brumfield got it. Just that it has identified streets and all that. With that said, any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 15, resolution approving agreement between LSU Ag Center and Lafourche Parish government to support and administer Louisiana cooperative units off campus for the 2024 year and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 16, resolution approving an agreement between Deaf Action Center Interpreting Services LLC and Lafourche Parish Government for sign language interpreting and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson will move for me to administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 17, resolution approving a lease agreement between the Warren J. Harang Jr. Municipal Auditorium and Lafourche Parish Government Office of Community Action for the 2024 quarterly commodity distribution and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 18, resolution amending resolution number 20-016 and stating that any two of the following people are authorized to sign all checks issued by the Lafourche Parish Clerk of Court Office from the juror and witness fee account located at Capital One Bank. Ms. Annette M. Fontana, Brianne M. DeRoche, Ms. Angela H. Claymore, Mr. Louis Leffingwell, or Ms. Tara A. Leday, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention. That abstention is being Councilman Wendell. Good, Ms. Carlene? Item 19, resolution approving an agreement between Energy Operations Incorporated and Lafourche Parish Government to use the Lafourche Agricultural Center as a short-term facility for processing evacuees and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson will move for me on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 20, resolution approving an agreement with Morris P. Aber Incorporated for the MS4 permit consulting services and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant document. Moved by Ms. Chesson of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 21, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Christy Lumpkin for the position of Director of Grants and Economic Development for Lafourche Parish Government, authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. At this time, I will offer, Mr. President, if any of these appointments would like to come in front of the council, they're more than welcome to. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I will if any of them want to say something. And I'm going to say this overarching for the next several items, and if we have any direct conversations about any one of the appointments. But I think I laid it out pretty well for you guys in the agenda summary that was sent out a week and a half or so ago. I think when you look at what we've been able to accomplish over the last 4 years, and I talked about it Saturday when we got inaugurated, the 325 people that work for Lafourche Parish Government are a huge part of that. But the 6 individuals sitting behind me are one of the largest. I think they're 60. Back me up. 7. I'm sorry. I told y'all Saturday's math was not my strong suit. I don't know how I personally could do this job without them. I don't know how the men and women who work with us every day would do the job without them. And I talked to most of you over the break. Those of you had questions and concerns, and I recognize that we can do things better, right? We are going to fumble the football, and I tell these guys all the time, it's not how we fumble the football, it's how we pick it back up and how we keep running. And I think we do that very well. Those of you who did ask, had some questions and had some concerns, my question and my response to you was thank you. Let me take that back and let us work on it. Again, we're not going to do everything perfect all the time, whether it's our responses to you guys, whether it's our responses to the public, or whether it's our responses to employees. I think we've done a really good job at taking care of the employees, from pay increases to insurance renewals, and I think that's a testament to Mitch and Renita and Savani all working together. I think when you look at all of them combined, we have well over 2,000 hours of work time that has been above and beyond their 40-hour pay period. So we've gotten an extra year and a half worth of work out of these guys that we necessarily didn't need to. And I think when you look at the accomplishments we made, we're on Christie, so You look at things, expansions like John Deere, we look at expansions like Cairo and Bahia Blue. We look at the certified sites that we now have. I know Vic and Christy are here. We're gonna talk about Select in a minute, but our partnerships with them and how we've reunited those. I think when you put everything together, we couldn't do it without these 6 people, and I would ask you guys to support every single one of them to come back so we can continue the good work, and we can continue to do all the great things we're doing here in the parish. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any discussion?
I just want to say.
Mr. Lorraine.
I just want to say that that's 6 appointments? 7, okay. If they go back in.
It's 6 appointments. Go ahead, Mr. Lorraine.
6, huh? I figured I'd shake them up. But what I want to say is that these 6 people, if they get appointed tonight, which I'm sure they probably all have a good chance, is they in for another 4 years. Because according to the charter, once they get approved, all you need is 5 votes to stop it. But once they're approved, you're gonna need a supermajority to get them out later. So if they go in tonight, they're in with Archie for another 4 years. And I will talk about DPW once it comes up, okay? And Christie, this is Christie, the first one, huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you didn't read it yet?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the one that's sponsoring it, so I told her she was taking a chance by letting me sponsor it. But I want to just tell her that I got to know her. I got to deal with her on different occasions. And everything that I went to her for, and it wasn't every day, it was just certain things, she put it together, and she did very well. So that's a feather in her cap.
Thank you, Ms. Lorraine. Any further discussion on Ms. Lumpkin before we bring it to a vote? Ms. Lumpkin, you want to say anything? You good? You good? Okay. With that said, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 22, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Mitchell Ogeron for the position of parish administrator for Lafourche Parish government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Discussion. Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, what I like about Mitch, he's married to Lorraine, but I don't know if we're related or not. But Mitch is another one that, I ran across a few problems, and he was there to do the best he could. So he's got my support.
Very good. Any further discussion on Mr. Ogeron? Got any comments, Mr. Ogeron? You have the mic, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank everybody for the pleasure to work with you guys for the last 4 years. I know we have 2 new chairmen, and if approved tonight, look forward to working with y'all again as we move into the future. We've got a lot of work to do, and I'm eager to roll up my sleeves and get busy and accomplish the great work at Lafourche Parish.
Thank you, Mr. Ogeron. There's no further discussion. We'll bring this one to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 1 nay, nay being Councilman Adams. You good, Ms. Carlene? Item 23, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Dylan Barone for the position of Director of Public Works for Lafourche Parish Government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Ms. Chestnut for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Discussion. Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, I just want to say that DPW is a tough job, no matter who has it. It's just about a little bit of everything. Drainage, garbage, you name it, they have it. And I had my differences with Mr. Barone at times, but I just hope that, if he gets this, which I think he will, is that he gets to be a little, maybe I shouldn't say it, a little nicer. Not just to me, and also to the public. And I think he can overcome that if he wants to. But look, I'm gonna tell you, it's tough. He's got to take care of 9 councilmen up here, and the parish president, and quite a few others. And then he's got to take care of 90,000 people screaming and hollering. And I guess it gets to be tough at times. But hopefully it'll work out and things will get a little better. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Melvin.
Yeah, I wanted to thank the administration as well. I think we've worked very well together overall. I know this is not easy, especially with DPW. It's a huge responsibility. I think it carries the weight of our parish. I mean, I want to see things continue to move forward. I know we've had some challenges, and look, people didn't put me in this position to just attaboy and get along, okay, and go along. But I did receive a few phone calls from folks who were in the department about some issues that they were concerned about. And I had some calls from people who left the parish who, same kind of issues that they had some concerns about. So my due diligence was I made a request to see how many employees we lost in the last 4 years, just to do my due diligence. I like to go by proof and do my homework, right? And I got 2 different emails, and one said there was, 66 employees that left, 42 resigned, and 16 retired. And then I got an updated one spreadsheet, and I think there was, 70 something on here, I believe, 72, if I'm, give or take a number here. I got it screenshotted, 72. And I know that there's some that retired. And look, anytime there's a regime change, because this is my 3rd term, thank you, Jesus, I'm glad to serve the people. You can expect there to be some differences, because you got a new 6 people over there, a new parish president, so you can expect some things, okay? And some people, rightly so, probably had to leave. And I bet we're glad they're gone, for whatever that reason is, that we can be a better parish, okay? I just thought that the number was a little high in the last 4 years. And I think I've worked well with most everybody there. Actually, not most, but everyone there. And I think they've worked with me. There's been a few hiccups. So it's never fun to be in this situation, because we want to represent not only the people who put us in this chair, but the people who go out and carry to work every day in those ditches and in the dark and in the rain and in the storms we never get to see, but we know they're there. And when my phone starts to ring like that, and it wasn't regime change, it was just, just an echoing. It just didn't sit well with me. But again, I'm kind of on the fence, but I'd like to see things get better between the communication of whatever has to happen in that department. Because again, I work from this point of view, and I'm responsible for, let's say, even though there's 9,000 people in my district, let's say 3,000 vote, and it's usually the ones that call you that don't vote, right? But my point, as far as with the problems, but so I'm responsible for that many people. The parish president has to carry all the weight of all the people and administration and the employees, and then we have to deal with those 6 folks, and sometimes we do bad heads, and that's okay. People didn't put us in these chairs to always get along and agree. They put us here to get stuff done and to represent well. So that being said, it's just tough for me because, I don't like to rock any boats, but again, that's just what my homework said. And I'm not saying I cannot vote to confirm. It's just some challenges. I'd like to make it known so that we can maybe move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Councilman Lorraine, he's only mean to you when I tell him to be mean to you. And Mr. Melvin, just to right, just to run some numbers, and I know you asked for that, and we were able to put that spreadsheet together. But from 2016 to 2019, we had 77 people leave Public Works. There were 7 retirements, 51 resignations, and 19 terminations. So I guess on average, we're right about there with the guys who came before us. And with that, I mean, if Mr. Brony wants to talk, I'll let him talk. I think the leaps and bounds we've made in Public Works, yes, there's some challenges, but the guy was in his recliner Christmas Eve working pump stations and SCADA systems to make sure people stayed dry. And I don't think you're gonna find too many people, especially in their early 30s, that are that in-depth and that technical and care enough about anything to stay up on Christmas Eve and do that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Brumfield.
One of the concerns I really had was the amount of phone calls I received about Public Works as well. I was kind of baffled at what people were saying and the comments, the things that they were bringing up. It kind of confused me, kind of made me feel real eerie, I just believe that, I know I'm new here. I do know that morale is everything, the way you make people feel. I just hope that in the future, because there's always a future, that Public Works could really get on a better level of morale, you know, just. I think that it would be real good if we could all work together. Working together makes a big difference. But the amount of phone calls I received just kind of put me in a position, a place of, I was very concerned. Very concerned. People I just don't know. People I've never received that many phone calls about, you know, situation like that. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brumfield. Any further discussion? Mr. Broner, you want to say anything?
Yes, sir.
You have the mic.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I'd just like to talk about the public information request that was received. Just to clarify, there were 71 in the last 4 years. Number 72 happened to be a retirement that was early this year. With that being said, we did have 20 retirements. And if you listen to what President Chesson said in the last administration, there were only 7. So there were 20 retirements in the last 4 years in DPW alone. Of the 72, 20 retirements, 8 terminations, 37 resignations, which for multiple reasons. If you look at the public information requests, 12 of them were for medical, 2 were for personal family reasons, 1 was to run for political office, 3 were during disciplinary meetings where the employee realized what they had done and moved on, 2 relocated to another state, 4 were for better opportunities, and only 13 truly just resigned because of the environment or some other reason. Also, 7 of those resignations were partial resignations where the employee was a pumper here, worked as a pumper, continues to work here as an equipment operator and a pumper, just let go of 1 pump. And you know, people have let go of pumps for multiple reasons. Since I've been here, it's been from harassment of neighbors or harassment of local people in the area. Conditions of the road was one of them, and I'm happy to say since then we've acquired a right-of-way and worked towards a project to get access to there, clean access to there. We haven't done it yet, but it's in the process. So I just wanted to shed a little more light on those 72. Also, I am troubled that the first time I hear of these complaints with employees is today. I really wish that when the council gets these complaints that they share it with me. I'm happy to reflect, look in the mirror, see if there's any changes I can make in my management style and move on. But also, I'm going to hold these employees accountable. I need to do it in the right way and the proper way, but I'm not going to stand in front of the council once a month and be held accountable by U9 and not hold my 165 people accountable. So I just want that to be clear and be fairly stated before we move on any further. And then I just ask that you look at the employees that called you. You know, there's a lot of reasons why employees may dislike me. It could be from they didn't get the promotion they thought they deserved, maybe aren't where they thought they would be 20 years ago today. And then I'll lastly state that how many employees did you all reach out to, you know? Did you reach out to those employees, you know, and talk to some of those guys? So with that, I've enjoyed it over the last 4 years. It has been a battle. Ms. Lorraine stated it really, really well. I've learned that it's really hard to please the majority. You have to do what you have to do. We are bound. I often tell you guys this, you guys make the rules, I follow it. If we don't like something we're doing, I'm happy to discuss policy changes with you guys, go through the process, and I'll follow the new rules that you make. With that being said, thank you all for the opportunity over the last 4 years and look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Barone. I'll just make a comment that, you know, I do think that from my perspective, I think we need to do better, Dylan. I'll be just straight up honest with you. And, you know, I don't know what kind of leadership skills training we do. We should all be better in ourselves. You can never be good enough. When I came out of the Marine Corps, it was ruled with a iron fist, and I quickly learned that you get backstabbed left and right like that, so that's not the way to rule. But with that said, I think we do have some legitimate concerns. I'm proud of where we're at and where we're going, and I just hope that you would be receptive to any complaints and with no excuses. With that said, if there's no further discussion, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Nays, raise your hand. 1, 2. So motion passes with 7 yeas, 2 nays. Those nays being Councilman Melvin and Councilman Araby. Congratulations, Mr. Dillon. Item 24, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Tony Bro for the position of Director of Plans and Permits for Lafourche Parish Government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Melvin for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Discussion. Mr. Lorraine.
I just want to say that Tony has taken this permit deal back a few years ago, and he is, with some of his employees, they have basically turned it around. You're not going to make everybody happy with permits, but I think it's much better now than before. But I want to throw one more thing in. When we going to get a permit office open down the bottom?
Wait till after the vote,
I'm getting
Tony.
ready to vote, buddy.
Any comments? Tony, you want to say anything? You have the floor, sir.
Yes, I just like to say thank y'all very much for giving me the opportunity the last 4 years. I enjoy what I do. I like getting out with the public and doing whatever I can to assist the public and see that everyone in my office is doing the same. I look forward to the next 4 years and the opportunity to make the permit office even a little better and see if I can't maybe get Dan an office down there one day.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Any further discussion before we bring this to a vote? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 25, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Renita Jackson for the position of Director of Finance for Lafourche Parish Government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Ms. Chasson. Any discussion? Mr. Lorraine.
I might as well. Renita was here earlier, then she disappeared a while, then she came back, but she's always done a good job. So I'm going to give you a kudos on that. You know, if you need something, you call her. She'll get you the numbers, and she does well.
I'm going to echo that because being part of the audit process, which not many council members get involved in, it's a pleasure to have everything run correctly from the government standpoint. Any further discussion? Renita, you want to say anything? She's good? Okay, if no one has anything, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 26, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Savanya Anderson for the position of Director of Human Resources for Lafourche Parish Government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Ms. Chasson. Any discussion?
Oh, you know I got to finish it.
Mr. Lorraine.
So, Savanya, when a while back, a few years ago, I was ill and had insurance problems, and she basically took care of it. So I got to give her kudos too, and she does well.
Very good. I'll echo those sentiments. Thank you very much for your service, Ms. Savanya. Any further discussion? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 9 yeas and 0 nays. Congratulations to all of you. Much appreciated. Look forward going forward. Item 27, resolution approving agreement with Olameter DPG LLC for contracted services related to underground facility locating and marking services and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Melvin for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 28, resolution rescinding resolution number 23-307 that accepted the low quote of Blue Ant Fence and Shutter Incorporated in the amount of $3,650 for contracted services related to nuisance abatement and concerning the demolition of condemned structure located at 1243 Roberts Drive, Houma, Louisiana 70364, assessment number 01107979660, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Winter for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 29, resolution approving agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Joe Stark, DVM of LJS of Lake Charles Incorporated to provide in-house veterinary services at Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item 30, resolution accepting the quote from Lafourche Animal Hospital to provide veterinary services on an as-needed and as-called-upon basis for the Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 31, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Lafourche Parish Government and Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Discussion. You got it, Mr. Lorraine?
It's not gonna do no good, but Archie tried, and you know, it's 3 days in Thibodeau and 2 days in Matthews, and South Lafourche don't get any days. But I know you tried, so it's the same thing over and over and over. You know, not that I'm taking up for South Lafourche, but they have a lot of. Go see the wall we got down there. They got 5,000 soldiers on that wall, better than the one you got in Washington D.C. So we get left out again. But I'm gonna vote for it because I don't have a choice.
You have faithfully brought that up every year, so absolutely. With that said, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 32, resolution approving change order number 1 for the project titled New Rodeo Arena and Miscellaneous Repairs to the Raceland Ag Facility, increasing the contract price by $37,391.25 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Moved by Ms. Arabi for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 33, resolution approving amendment number 1 to the agreement between All Star Electric Incorporated and Lafourche Parish Government for contracted services related to street light maintenance and repair, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Melvin for the administration, second by Mr. Wendell. Any discussion? Mr. Lorraine.
That's the street lights in these fancy subdivisions that they were.
That's the others. What, Mr. President?
So this is All-Star Electric. So they're the guys, like if Gazette can't fix it, whether it's the fancy ones or the non-fancy ones, they go in there and take care of it. If it's an energy issue, then energy fixes them. But there's some that are R lights and not energy lights, so this covers that.
So that's not the ones that went on East 74th, please, huh? I see they shaking his head.
It's kind of this is the same as a cement curbing around the houses. Same thing. All right, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 34, resolution approving change order number 1 for the project titled Hurricane Ida damaged roof replacements to Matthews and Galeon government complexes, decreasing the contract price by $25,864 and adding 14 additional days, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson will move from you on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 35, resolution accepting the quote from Greenscapes of Louisiana Incorporated for contractor services related to nuisance abatement on an as-needed and as-called-upon basis, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Moved by Ms. Chesson of administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 36, resolution accepting the quote from Interstate Electronic Systems LLC to update the council chambers presentations and audio system in the amount of $161,166.29, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir.
Does this come with a disco ball or something?
Yes, sir.
For $161,000?
So it'll be,
Mr. Ship
and I know we've talked about this before when we did the supplemental appropriation before the end of the year. So it's complete redo of everything you guys see behind here. We're going to reposition some of the screens. Every councilman will have a screen where they sit, so you guys can see the presentations when we do them, and then the audience can see it. You guys know we've had issues with the sound system over the years. We had issues with it, I think, the week after we installed it when we renovated the building back in 2014. So it's an old system. It's time to upgrade it. I'm not sure about a disco ball, but maybe a box of cookies from them. I'm not sure.
So one of the questions I have, and just for clarity, so first off, I just want to comment that I did consult with Ms. Carlene, because this price is just crazy, although I know that's kind of the times we live in. I think that's exactly what she said, and it is time to get something, even though I really don't like the price. But one of the things I want to make sure that I understood is that the council, the chairman is gonna have to press a button for the mic. It won't be that the individual council member presses a button and is able to speak?
So there'll be a button on each individual mic stand that'll cue you up. So if Mr. Lorraine hits his button, and Mr. Araby hits his button, and then Mr. Broomfield hits his button, it'll let you scroll through. Now, once Mr. Lorraine's done, it'll queue up Mr. Araby, you'll queue up Mr. Araby and then Mr. Broomfield. And if Mr. Lorraine has a secondary comment, like he always does,
Sure, I don't know how, it's not working right now.
he'll go back, he'll go back into and you'll have to queue him up.
I'm just wondering if there's, but is it gonna be, I mean, is the chair gonna have to physically release that person to speak?
Yes.
I wonder if there's an override to that. I just think that's gonna be a
we
little
can work with them.
monotonous.
There probably is.
So that's something I definitely would wanna pursue. Yeah, well, maybe so. I don't know, it's a lot more to do here.
He's rethinking that whole chairmanship thing right about
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Well, when you see the price, and I know it has a lot of bells and whistles, which is like everything these days. You want less and you can't really get less, but anyway, I know it's a sign of the times, and I do thank Ms. Carleen for her recommendation. With that said, do we have any further discussion on this item? Bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Wow. Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Okay. Item 37, resolution approving a use of facilities agreement between Lafourche Parish government, the Raceland Recreational District, and Lafourche Parish School Board for use of property, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 38, resolution approving agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and South Louisiana Economic Council, SLEC, for the fiscal year 2024 service fees in the amount of $25,000 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Discussion. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I noted earlier, and the same thing I did with Kevin, I know Mr. Vic Lafon and Ms. Christy Zarang, I almost said Nakane, are in the audience. And, having Christy on board, having Select from a regional economic development perspective has been really nice. We've been able to pull off a lot of things with those guys, and we look forward to the partnerships in the future. So we're happy to up the ante once again.
The only thing I would ask as respectfully request is more communication. I know my first term office, we got regular, and it was like kind of been quiet for a while there. I just would ask if we get better communication, more communication was happening. Just keep us on top of it. You were gonna say something, Mr. Lorraine?
No, I'm gonna let him slide.
All right, with that said, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 39, resolution approving agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the Fire Protection District Number 3 for hazmat operations and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Discussion. Mr. Lorraine.
I just want to recognize Fire District 3. They have quite a few people back there, the fireman and the director. And Jim's been there longer than I was born. Old Montez,
Yeah, Mr. Marine himself. Yeah, so during the discussion, I was going to recognize if they want to come up and talk about.
Oh, okay.
I know their interest is not so much on this particular item, which basically they're taking over the hazmat from what we were doing, the whole parish was doing, which I'm thankful for because they do that in other roles as well. But if they do hang around, I will allow them time during the discussion phase to talk about this.
Right.
Which is what I'm sure they're here to talk about.
Well, I'm glad you're listening to me, sir.
Yep. Very good. If there's no further discussion, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 40, resolution supporting a grant application for fiscal year 2023-2024 funding through the State of Louisiana Office of Community Development Local Government Assistance Program, LGAP, to repair Lafourche Parish government-owned buildings located in Thibodeau and Matthews, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Moved by Ms. Adams for administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 41, resolution accepting the low bid from Grand Isle Shipyard LLC in the amount of $976,295 for the project titled LaRose Regional Park Hurricane Idle Repairs and Replacements, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Discussion. Ms. Chesson.
This is to do what exactly? Because the lights are that's already done. This is for
Mr. Administrator, you want to answer this one?
concession.
Mitch, you have the floor if you want to answer, sir.
So this is actually not for the lights. This is indeed for all the fencing. This is for all the dugouts, the bleachers, the covers over the bleachers, as well as the Bantam press box. So it's a lot of work to go on over there.
Okay, so it's gonna be new bleachers?
Yes.
Not just fixing what's there, it's
No,
new bleachers?
no, this is all replacement stuff.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Lorraine?
And we are also making, we have to do some ADA compliance work there as well. That also.
Because FEMA funds are coming in, that's right.
Because FEMA funds is driving it, so that also increases the price, particularly as it relates to like the dugouts and whatnot. There's an increase in price just associated with that.
I'm learning that right now.
Is
Mr.
there
Lorraine?
gonna be a restroom, or should I say a bathroom like we see down the bar?
There are restrooms there already.
Oh, they have them?
Yes, and there are some repairs that are actually occurring to the restrooms and the concession stands.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave that out, man.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 42, resolution approving change order number 2 for the project titled Hurricane Auto Repairs Lafourche Government Complex, Phase 1 re-roofing, adding 169 days to the contract time and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Mr. Adam for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion on item 42? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 43, resolution approving amendment number 1 to the agreement between the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism and Lafourche Parish government for the kayak boat launch on the Edward Douglas White Historic Site and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any all relevant documents. Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Discussion. There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item 44, resolution approving amendment number 1 to the agreement between the Lafourche Parish Government and South Central Planning and Development Commission for Building Code Compliance Services, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any all relevant documents. Mr. Winter for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9 yeas, 0 nays. Item N, parish president, department heads, directors, or manager reports, presentations, and our updates. Department of Public Works representative to present a report. Mr. Barone, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, if everybody's ready, we'll go ahead and get started. The January DPW presentation of 2024. As always, starting at the Thibodeau Field Office is Talbot Avenue repaired shoulder. We had a lot of issues with water piling up on the shoulder of the road, so this was actually brought to us by the employees. The employees took it upon themselves to do this in the slow time right before Christmas. As well, the Thibodeau Field Office said the west side outfall removed debris from the culverts. And Manchester Manor, same thing, removing debris from the culverts. 40 Open Road, repaired road. We waited, obviously, till they got all the cane out of there. Moving to Choctaw Field Office is Primrose Drive, installed driveway culvert. Roderick number 8 pump station, installed portable pump. We have a pump that's in pretty bad shape right here. President Chasson was able to work with CPRA and get some money down here for us to replace this pump station. We do have to fix Sugar Ridge number 2 first, but any money's left over from Sugar Ridge number 2, we're hoping to push into this pump station. But from a safety perspective and trying to help employees and stop them from getting injured on this pump station that is literally falling in the sump, we put a portable pump. Moving to the Bible Field Office is Palmazzano Drive, clean culverts. St. Marie Drive, swept roadside ditches. Raceland Field Office, Colvan Street, swept roadside ditches. Danoff Street outfall, swept outfall. Cypress Street, swept roadside ditches. I'm sorry, Lockport Field Office, that was Cypress Street. Another Lockport Field Office, Cypress Villa Lane, replaced collapsed driveway culvert and removed landscape culverts. First Street, clean culverts. Agberry Street, swept roadside ditches. Company Canal Pump Station, installed still water pipe columns. And you'll see that this is on the discharge side. This is for that new SCADA system that we spoke about at the last meeting. Sunny Acres outfall, swept outfall. Moving to Galliana Field Office, East 75th Street, replace collapsed driveway culvert. West 59th Street, repair pothole. West 161st Street, remove landscape culvert. As far as the work completed by the maintenance contractors, Locust Street, asphalt patches. East 144th Street, replace cross culvert. Camden Court, repair curb. Island Oaks, repair curb. George Drive, repair curb. North Lake Drive, repair curb. Elm Lane and Oak Street, asphalt patch. Intersection of Willow D Street and Elm Lane, asphalt patch. Magazine Loop, repair curb. This is Timberland Pump Station in Portashare, repaired sills and pilings. And last but not least, Old Safari Heights, concrete panel replacement. As far as the work completed in the Department of Public Works in the office for the month of December, there were 2 permanent servitudes that were acquired, 2 major subdivision inspections and 1 major subdivision review, 1 property redivision review, 7 culvert permits, and 1 fence permit issued. There were 253 work requests received, 66 permits were reviewed for compliance, 11 jobs completed by the maintenance contractor. As far as engineering work, there are currently 28 projects in design phase, 4 projects under construction, 1 project out to bid, and 1 project that is complete. If you're wondering what project's out to bid, the current project's out to bid is the Road Sales Tax 2 Priority Road List for 2022. We opened bids on that at 10 a.m. on January 24th. And with that, that concludes my presentation. I don't entertain any questions.
Discussions for Dylan.
I can't get
Mr. Araby.
Dylan.
Yes, sir.
I know the election's over with now. What's the plans for finishing up St. Louis Street and St. Philip Street with the couple of 2, 3 speed ups I got left on
The
them?
speed hump, so actually we starting this week on the speed humps for Mr. Adams District, and we ordered the sign for LeBlanc Drive yesterday.
trial.
We sent the PO out for that. And then as soon as we finish Mr. Adams' 2 speed humps on there, we move into West 133rd and then back to the streets that we were on. I know there was a resolution or something passed for us to go in order in which they were.
Yeah, well, it's passed after we started this project. That's why I'm asking. This project was already started, never got completed. It's been going on 1.5 years now. So I'm kind of wondering, you know, when it's going to get finished.
Well, that's our current plan. I mean, if I need to do something different, I'll get with administration and ask them if that's the process I need to follow. But that's currently, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Larry, there's 5 on West 133rd. So we plan to have both of those installed tomorrow. And then we're gonna move to West 133rd next week, hopefully, and as soon as that's done. And the reason we're not doing 2 in 1 parish, we're using the inmate crew to do it. So using that inmate assistance to help us put it in. So as soon as we finish down the bottom, we're gonna move there. And I don't know what the lead time is on that sign. They haven't given us that yet. So we were finally able to get 3 quotes, order 1 of them. That will be the first one. It will be installed on the blow job. I'll get with you when it gets in on where you want it installed.
Yeah, we're talking about terror is one of these trial ones. Remember, I'm anti-speed hump. So they have these other traffic calming devices, which is just a sign. It's not a whole installation that we're gonna try. And
Hey, I'm in favor of that also. I mean, if you think that'll work, I see them everywhere in other parishes.
Yeah.
You know, but I kind of priced some of them signs too, and they're almost as expensive as speed hump, so.
Yeah, they $4,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever we think is gonna work to slow the people down is what we need to do. But I know we started this project, like I said, about 1.5 years ago, and it still hadn't been completed yet, so. I know there was all kind of other issues y'all came up with, but anyhow, what's the latest on the Allendale pump station?
We're still waiting on funding. We got a pretty good, Archie, I don't know if you want to take this one.
I know the parish brother, you just said, want to get some money from CPRA for another pump.
Yeah,
Well, why
so
can't
this
get
is statewide flood control. It's a different pot of money, but statewide flood control did tell us that we were the only applicant, so it's highly likely that we get it. They just have to go through the process, and I think we know something in June. Is that correct, President Chesson?
Mr. President.
Yeah, so I did have a conversation with Stevie this morning. We've shuffled some internal money around to be able to go out to bid. Statewide flood is April and May, as you know, Councilman Araby, so we should know something in June if we got those extra dollars. Working with Representative Zarang and now Senate President Cameron Henry, there's a construction contingency fund built within the state budget. So Stevie is working to set up a meeting with Senator Henry to figure out if we can tap into that construction contingency fund so we can back our money out, put that money in until the statewide flood control money comes through. So Stevie was going to reach out to Senator Henry today, figure out when we can get a meeting on the books to figure out if that's an option. But we do have the money in place to go out to bid. You should see that hit the streets in February, knowing that we're not going to have to pay the first invoice until probably April or May. It gives us the time to put the rest of that money in place.
I know we put all brand new discharge pipe under the railroad track for this new pump station, so I don't want it to get all rot before we build a pump station. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and look, it's completely designed, so as soon as the money's in place, it's ready to go. It's permitted, designed.
I know we spent a fortune on designing and engineering, and we still don't have a pump, so that's why I'm kind of questioning about it.
Yes, sir.
Next question is for Mitch. Whatever you, I'm finished with you, Dylan.
Yeah, so we'll have questions for the administration in a minute.
Yeah, I'm finished.
Mr. Melvin?
Hey, Dylan, real quick, could you please give me an update on the Bayou Vista pump station? I know it's, in motion.
Yeah, so
but-
survey's 100% complete. They're in the phase of modeling now. As soon as they get us some numbers on modeling, we will know what size conveyance channel we need. And once we know conveyance channel, we will know the width of the right-of-way on 4-to-1 side slopes, the width of the conveyance channel. We'll know how much right-of-way we need to acquire from the neighboring landowners. Then we have to start right-of-way acquisition and discussions with the neighboring landowners for right-of-way. Once all of that's approved, then it'll go into full design. So survey's complete.
Time on that,
modeling-
just rough guess.
It depends on how long right-of-way acquisition takes. Right-of-way acquisition could be as quick as 10 minutes, it could be months.
20 years?
Yes,
Okay.
so I don't want to give you false hope, but if everything goes smooth, I think you could have a engineered project mid to late year.
Okay, and up to buy and down to buy right of ways?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, because there's got to be a levee, because if we're gonna draw the water surface elevation down, you have to have protection
Okay,
from it.
got it, thanks.
Yep.
Mr. Adams?
Yeah, I just want to say those speed bumps were put in 6 years ago. I didn't do it, but yeah, it was like 6 years ago. And again, when the resolution came about, that's how it happened. And I asked the resident if they still wanted them. They said yeah, so that's why they're there.
Is that the ZZ?
Yeah, that's ZZ.
Yeah, I figured that was Lucy Esposito's, her push. Mr. Lorraine?
Yeah, my light don't want to light, man. What y'all doing? But anyway, Dylan, you said something about they got a street project coming. You got those 2 streets in Golden Meadow in the town on that?
No, sir, they on the next one.
Or the next?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
It
I
was
think
in
there's
design by the time we got
a couple
them.
of drainage problems and road that caved in.
Yep, we did look at them. There's actually a third one. President Chesson added one, and you brought us 2.
And I think Safari Heights, the work order got lost in the cracks somewhere.
It is lost, but it is
So,
done. It only took us 8 weeks once we knew about it, so.
I'm gonna try, if I can get it done that quick, I'm gonna get it lost again on my next one.
Thank you, Ms. Lorraine. I would request on streetlights, if y'all could blast out on the Facebook page or something, just reminding residents that they need to report streetlight outages on that form to help us out. I mean, every time I get on the road, I'll count 11, 12 lights that are out, and it's just, there's no way for me to keep up with it.
Yes.
So if we can just reach out, maybe blast out to them again, because I mean, we're paying energy for them. We just need energy to go fix these lights, right?
Yes, sir.
You had one Mr. Araby.
Just to comment or echo what you're saying, Norman, I've been doing the same thing. I went to My Energy website and I reported 10 of them last weekend.
Yeah. And
they're already getting taken care of, some of them.
And Energy does tell us not to duplicate requests. If you do have a request, just let it go through its process. Don't duplicate it, because for some reason there's a glitch in the system where it sends it to the back. So just remember that when you're doing it.
Yeah. I have several of them that were problem lights, and they've been like that for like 2 or 3. It wasn't an easy fix. I don't know if it's a replacement of the whole fixture, but they're still like that. And so it's very dark areas at 308, and no more fatalities.
Can I just
Yes,
say
go
one
ahead.
thing?
Yeah, one more follow-up.
Based on the discussion earlier and the vote, I know a lot of you brought concerns about employees and stuff like that. I would please get with Savanya. She's gonna hate me for saying this, but if you could call Savanya tomorrow, please give her that information. Let her go through the process. As you say, Chairman, I'm happy to look in the mirror and see what I can do better, whatever that takes. But if you could, run it through Savanya, get it to HR, let it be vetted through the process and the proper channels. That way it can be investigated properly.
Very good. Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
all.
Much appreciated. Brings us to item O, questions for the administration. And Mr. Araby, I think you had something for Mr. Ogeron?
Mr. Ogeron, I know you and I have been talking about this the last few weeks, months. Can you give the public an update on where we at with the recreational center in Raceland? I know we're gonna be going out on bid, or
The
we went out on
the
bid. and
center or the parks themselves?
The parks, the
Okay, the
recreational
parks.
park area, I'm sorry, recreational park area.
Because we see them as districts. So, actually, we're gonna open bids for the Raceland Park on January 11th at 2 o'clock. And that is gonna be, that's gonna be the lights, the restrooms, the dugouts, and the fencing. So it's gonna be all combined.
Lights?
Lights included, yes. It's gonna be the full package.
No drainage work on this?
No, there's no drainage work. Now.
So that'll be on the next agenda, February agenda?
I would
More
say, yeah, it's gonna be in the February agenda, yes.
Okay, I was getting some more questions about it, during the public, and I want to find out if you could just let the public know what's going on also, and I'll spread the word out, so, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Adams?
Yeah, Mitch, Mr. Ogeron, how you doing, sir? I'm just checking in. I know last time we had a meeting with the landowner and Mr. Fontenot. I think they're just waiting on a survey, not a survey, but a appraisal. So I was just wondering, did you talk to anybody, or is that moving forward?
So I know President Strassel received the layout. We're in the process of getting the survey. And that way we can find out what the cost is, and so we can negotiate with the landowner and ultimately acquire the property so we can get the thing moving.
Sweet, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Mr. Lorraine?
Yeah, I had spoke to President Chasson before the meeting, and we have a serious problem in the South with trash. And I see Ms. DeLynn had a couple of signs she put up on 72 West and 39, and I got 5 or 6, and they're still dumping. What's happening, we're gonna have to get somebody in trouble because people are just dumping on other people's property. So it's not fair to the guy that owns the property if people come throw trash on, and look, in front of my house where I live, they cleaned it. Next day, I come out the street, I told my wife, I said, now look at this. We cleaned that yesterday, and it was full, and now it's even more. And it's just unbelievable, and I think he said something about he might be able to talk to FEMA or one of them companies to try to catch up, because we got stuff down the streets that's just staying there. And so I'm gonna take them out there and try to get this fixed. And also another problem we faced with is derelict structures. I mean, you got people that's left all the stuff there and backed up and gone, and the poor neighbor got to put up with it. Now, I know it's not just in that area, it's all over, but that's something else we're gonna have to look into. If you got 10 million in solid waste, we can look at that.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. President?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to piggyback on what Councilman Lorraine was talking about. So, if you see somebody dumping, like I've seen a multitude of Facebook posts with people posting the pile, right? We know where the piles are. If you take a picture of something, take a picture of the person who's dumping it. In one of the piles down by Councilman Lorraine's house, we found an ID card within the trash. So we sent that to the sheriff's office. We think that's the person who's dumping it. So if you're gonna be a criminal, at least try to be smart about it. Don't leave your ID card in the trash pile. And the derelict structure stuff, and I know I've addressed this on social media as well. We're gonna try to send you guys something in February to try to revamp the nuisance abatement ordinance and speed up the process. You guys all know it takes 6 months by the time we notice them, and if they clean up a little bit, Mr. Passman goes back out there, and then we give him a little bit more time, and it drags on forever. We've been successful in a couple of cases, one being in Councilman Adams' district, where we've gotten the sheriff's office involved and ticketed them and actually brought them to court. So we're working through those processes as well, but we want to try to streamline the ordinance, but we're still very cautious. I think it was back in Councilman Lorraine, you may remember this, probably 8-10 years ago, we went clean up a property, and the guy actually sued the parish, because one man's junk is another man's treasure, right? The judge actually ruled in favor of the gentleman that we shouldn't have cleaned up his cars and shouldn't have taken this stuff, and we ended up having to pay the guy a substantial amount of money for the trash we had taken away because his neighbors called it in. So in some cases, we have to work through the process slowly, but I think we'll get there. With that, just a couple of things, Mr. Chairman. We did post some pictures today, and I know I sent them to Councilwoman Chesson and Councilman Lorraine. Leva boat launch is coming along quite nice. They drove the new pilings for the pier. So that process is coming along great. Councilman Araby, I know you received a call from Mr. Passman today, but we're all moving forward on the new nursing home. We were hopeful they would have started right after Christmas, but it looks like it'll be about another week or so before they get out there. But we're working through that for that community as well. Just a reminder, the groundbreaking for the Agricultural Center is tomorrow at 10:30, or 11:30, excuse me. If you come out, we'll have some members of the roping club there. I think they're gonna provide a little meal, so we'll have some refreshments after inside the ag building itself. If you are reporting street lights, make sure your street is actually on the Energy app. We ran across a couple of new subdivisions where they're not there yet. So I have, working with Ms. Paula Rome, she's been great to try to get that taken care of for us. And then I know Councilman Otan, Councilman Araby, I just sent you guys some pictures. We did hang the new doors on the
Looks
back
good.
of the
Looks
pavilion.
good.
They did a really, contractor did a really good job
Thank
with
you.
it. We did put some new lights in right before October, and I know we got a couple of things left on our punch list. We're gonna try to wrap up before April, but that place is coming along and being used a lot for a lot of things. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
I think I'm gonna read your mind and what you're thinking, so I wanna see. Go ahead, Ms. Chesson.
You brought up the fishing boat launches and stuff. Does Golden Meadow have cameras on their boat launch? Can we put that, how do we get the cameras for the boat launch in Golden Meadow and Delta Farm? Because we're about to spend a lot of money in Delta Farms.
Yeah.
400,000, right?
Just about, yeah.
So we want to put cameras in there as well.
Okay. I'll get with-
Golden
I'll get-
Meadow needs them. We need them because when things happen and there's nothing to verify what happened.
Yeah, I'll get with Chris and Eric. We're
'Cause-
still working through the money Councilman Otan put in the budget years ago. We're chipping away at it little by little, but we can add those to the system.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you. You mentioned demos, and you didn't mention City Place. Just want any update on City Place?
No, they cut the grass again, but I'll reach out to their executive director.
Seems like the
of
gate's
housing.
getting left open all the time, and most of the units have their doors open now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that.
I'll find out from Ariel.
Much appreciated. Brings us to item P, discussion. So Devin, you're more than welcome to come up and say a few words, and even introduce some of your staff if you want. If y'all don't, no one objects to that. They did distribute a Lafourche Fire District 3 to Lafourche Parish Council, and I am a bit biased for these guys because they do help out the whole parish as a combo department. They do a lot for us. They have some of the best training probably in the state. So with that said, Devin, just state your name and address for the record. She's not picking you up, Devin. Try again.
Devin Didon, 131 Alcide Street, Golden Meadow, Louisiana. I'm the fire chief at Fire District 3. We'd just like to thank y'all for y'all continued support. I know administration, Mitch has come sit a couple of times over the last year because we didn't know how we'd get through the year with our budget crisis. We was able to piece that together thanks to the help of the Port Commission, Lafourche Ambulance, and a $1.2 million government loan. So we will not get that loan next year, so that's why we're here. We have no choice but to go out for a tax and pass it. It's, you know, all of our priority at Fire District 3 is life safety, and that's what it's about. You could name everything else, your speed humps, your signs, but it's life safety. That's what it's about. And we're gonna continue doing what we gotta do to protect the people. This tax was brought up in '86, I believe, is when it first went up, and it was for construction and maintenance. So actually, we should have did this in 2005 when we hired people. It should have been for employees. So I'm very proud of the men and women, volunteer, career, dispatch of Fire District 3. Everybody works well together. And our community partners, you know, companies within the area, we train with them, ExxonMobil, Loop, it's working together. Bless your heart, you know, that's a big part of us too. We work together with all of them, so.
Devin, you just want to mention who you got with you tonight, too?
Huh?
You want to mention who you have with you?
Mr. Jim Montez, Battalion Chief of Battalion 1, so he covers everything from the South Lafourche Bridge north. Miles Roos is the Assistant Fire Chief, Fire District 3, and he also works as the Battalion Chief for Battalion 2. He covers from the South Lafourche Bridge south. And Mr. Lucas Bourgeois, he covers the Career Guys, Battalion 3.
Mr. Window.
Devin, I just want to thank you for what you and you guys do, and I know we got Chairman Otan, the fire service, got District 1 sitting over here. I'm in the Bayou Blue Fire District, and, oh, there we go, okay, both. Always forget about you.
Mr. Araby
But he
on the other
cleans
side.
up well. Mr. Araby too. We always have a lot of discussion or a lot of public feedback, usually by means of social media, when we talk about adding anything. I know we had a big garbage fiasco, we had a big teacher fiasco, we had a bunch of things, and everybody says, well, I'm just gonna vote no on any new taxes. And you mentioned employees, you mentioned, there's a lot of photos in your thing from Ida damage. Some of that's covered by insurance, some of that's covered by FEMA, but some of that through deductibles or whatever you're responsible for. I know your budget is very thin, as well with all other public service agencies, but there's the public has I guess, I've seen a lot of comments that they say, well, why do we need to pay somebody if there's volunteers? And I'm here to tell you, the volunteers of the old volunteer fire department are no longer what they are. In order to run a fire department now, you have to have training, you have to have so many hours, it has to be a certified person to drive, insurance requires that. You have to be certified as a firefighter, firefighter 1, firefighter 2. You people who do the training have to be certified instructors. You have to be certified in emergency medical services, whether it's at the first responder level, emergency medical responder, or up through emergency medical technician or paramedic. It just takes money to run an emergency organization like that. I've been in the fire service 25 years. The first truck I bid out was on a commercial chassis, $65,000. Last one I bid out was $1.7 million. It's just the cost of living goes up, and everybody says, well, there'll be volunteers that go. My fire department had to add paid people recently during the day because there were fire calls and there was nobody to respond to them. They'd page them out 4 or 5 times, and whether it was a house burning or somebody's mother laying on the floor not breathing, there were no volunteers going because everybody was working. You just think of the daily things that you go through in your life. You wake up in the morning, you go to work. You come home, you want to bring your family out to eat or go to a movie. That's the same thing that volunteer firefighters do. So if I'm at work, I can't go fight your house fire, or I can't go give CPR to Aunt Gloria. If I'm in the middle of the movies across town, I can't go fight your house fire. I can't go give CPR to Aunt Gloria. So we need to start supplementing some of this volunteerism that used to be there that no longer is. If you see somebody in a fire department truck or a fire department uniform, they definitely want to be there. They have a vested interest in their community, because it takes a lot to go through the crap that you have to go through and still give 100% to the people who you are representing. And there are some fire departments who, I don't know how, are still 100% volunteer. But if you look at the calls they respond to versus the calls that are evolving because of business, because of health conditions, because of way of life that we have down here, just look at the amount of wrecks that they have on a daily basis. And people post on Facebook, oh, there's a wreck on LA1, oh, there's a wreck in Lockport, oh, there's a wreck here. Well, that's 3 wrecks today. Well, if you stop and take a look at calls for service for emergencies today, there were 57 calls paged out in the parish, from wrecks to medical emergencies to people, not breathing, things like that. Serious things that just because you're not there, you don't witness it, it's still going on. So when somebody used to tell you they were a volunteer fireman, that meant that the first Tuesday of every month they could go down to the fire hall and have a beer with fellow, brothers, and don't yield the right of way to an emergency vehicle, whether it be a police car, a fire truck, an ambulance. They could be responding to your house or to your family. So it's just when things come up for council on aging and things, you got to think that's your grandparents, that's your elderly relatives. When things come up with the fire service or the sheriff's office and everybody says, oh, we're not doing any more taxes, we're not doing this, you don't think about them until you need them. And you might say, oh, my house is never burnt, I don't need the fire department. Oh, everybody in my family's healthy. But the first time it's your loved one laying on the ground, or your loved one trapped in a vehicle that's sinking in the bayou, or your house that's on fire, those are the people that when the first responders get on scene and get out the vehicle, they're being hollered at. The kitchen's on fire. What took you so long? She hadn't been breathing for 15 minutes. What took you so long? So this is going to be a thing for you guys down the bayou that you really need to take this to heart and do some research and consider. Don't just believe what you read on social media, or because your neighbor says, oh, we're not paying them people no more taxes. They sit at the fire station all day. A lot of times they're going through training. A lot of times they have equipment maintenance to do, different things like that. Do some research. Go to the fire station. Talk to those guys. See what they're up against. And if you're willing and able, volunteer. You know, there's still a need for volunteers. I only know of a few fire departments that have gone 100% career. There's always going to be a need, especially in Lafourche Parish, for the volunteer, whether it be with the police department, with the ambulance service, with the fire department. You know, it takes a village, and it really does. So do your research, especially on this, because it may come to a point in time where District 3 says, okay, we can't afford a new truck, we can't afford any employees, we're back to 100% volunteer. You're going to call 911 because one of those things are happening, and you're going to be standing in your front yard waiting 20 minutes for an ambulance to get there because there's going to be nobody to come. And it's a shame to put it like that and say it like that, but that's the world we live in. So on this one, don't take somebody else's word for it. Do your research and go visit those guys. You know, they'll explain it to you. They'll sit down. It's all public knowledge. They'll show you the budget and show you why that $65,000 truck now costs $1.7 million. It's a shame that when you paint it red or blue, in my case, that it adds so much to the price tag. But these are, you know, life-saving things that we need in our community, and life-saving people that we need there as well. So take it for what it's worth, but please do your research on this and don't hang these guys out to dry. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said, Mr. Wendell. Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick that they're not just firefighters, they're first responders. Recently, 2 weeks ago, somebody went to buy you, a couple of your guys went and get them.
3-minute response time.
When the tornado hit by the Sonic, y'all were the first ones there. So they're just not firefighters, they're first responders. And they help a lot of people out. Believe me, you don't notice it until you need it. Like he said, when you need the help, that's when you notice it. But these guys, this is a big area now. We're talking about north of LaRose a piece, the old Ward 10 all the way to Fouchon, and we can throw Dogri. They don't have much left there. It's all gone. But that's a big area. They're the ones that protect the Fouchon. Plus, they have a bunch of boats that could put the pumps on, but they got a fire station at Port Fouchon. And it's just one of those things. So whatever you can do to help them out, appreciate it.
And let's not forget that if you vote no against this, then you may be paying more. No, you're not maybe. You will be paying more insurance because your response times will be longer. You're gonna have less responders, so you will pay more fire insurance.
Ms. Chesson.
So I wanted him to talk about the financial end, because in the paperwork that you gave us, so we went from $4.8 million being collected to now we're $1.7 million, which is where the deficit is happening. And that is due to vessel tax being reduced and the devastation of Hurricane Ida that we're dealing with. So Lafourche Parish Fire District 3 had to charge Lafourche Ambulance District 1 a fee of $400,000.
Correct.
Increasing from $61,000 of the previous year. And then Greater Lafourche Port Commission, they had to charge them $400,000 in order to keep a fire department in the Fouchon area.
Correct.
So that they could be supportive down there in Fouchon. Currently, we have 52 employees and 100 volunteers. No, we had 52 employees and 100 volunteers, and now we're at 33 employees and 74 volunteers. And if we have to continue to decrease, that is when our fire insurance goes up and our response time goes down. And I can tell you on a daily, I hear sirens up and down on the bayou because there's always a need for our first responders. They cover a large area. They're very important, and I think people really need to consider what's going on here in our community, that we need our fire department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chesson. I'm sure you can attest that your call volume hasn't gone down, even though your budget has gone down so much. And I also just want to comment, Daniel makes a good point. You know, they take care of the port, so they have a lot of specialized training. All the vessels, these are guys going down in vessels. Of course, they have to be special training in high-angle rescue because of the elevated road down to the port. And more than anything else for me is they overlap their neighbors with mutual aid, you know, and not only in Lafourche Parish, but even Terrebonne Parish, et cetera. So they're one of the first ones that we all call to come and help us. So I certainly wish you luck, Devin, and anything I can do to help you, you know, I'm more than willing to assist. So wish y'all a lot of luck. Any last words?
No, thank y'all.
Good deal. Thank y'all, Devin. Thank y'all for your service. Does anyone else have any other discussion for tonight? I will say that at the February meeting, we'll be discussing at the next January meeting, because we mentioned about the rodeo or something about coming up in February, the first meeting in February, we're going to propose at the next meeting that we don't have, because it's the night of Mardi Gras. It's Mardi Gras Day. So we'll likely, if this council so approves on the next agenda, we will meet the fourth Tuesday of February. Anyway, with that said, if there's no other discussions, it moves us to item Q, adjournment, on a motion by Mr. Perk, second by Mr. Brunfield. And with no further business, Lafourche Parish Council regular meeting of January 9, 2024 will be adjourned at 18:47 hours. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed, 9 yeas, 0 nays.